Welcome to Networking RX, a podcast devoted to helping business professionals like you enhance your networking skills in order to become more proficient giving and receiving quality business referrals and improving the overall quality of your life and the lives of those around you. The Networking RX podcast is a production of AmSpirit Business Connections, an organization whose mission is to empower business success through networking.
I was at a chapter of AmSpirit Business Connections a couple of months ago, actually. And if you've never been in an organization like this, they all operate the same, but some are a little different. Even within my organization, chapters operate a little bit differently. But anyhow, this particular chapter does an icebreaker question every week, real quick. Just go around, just quick answer to whatever it is. And this particular chapter, the question of the week was, if you had 2 hours all to yourself, what would you want to do? People go around and share whatever. Anyhow, one person shared that they would take that 2 hours and they would watch an old movie. That they love to get onto Netflix and not search for the latest and greatest, the most trending, but look for, movies from the 40s and 50s that they could rewatch. And it's just this element of nostalgia, just going back in time and just, they've already seen the movie, they just want to see it again. And it's funny how life works, because things come into our lives based on whatever. But I happened to get a newsletter, newsletter every day from Cyblog, but it really kind of fit into this. And the title of this particular post from Cyblog is "Why Nostalgia is More Than Just a Feeling, It's a Social Superpower." And it got me thinking, as I'm reading this particular post, this particular article from Cyblog, and this individual, just why we have an interest in those sorts of things. I mean, stop and think about, you get together with old friends, and what do? You reminisce about the good old days. Do you remember back in high school when? My kids played a lot of soccer, and all three of my kids went on and played soccer all the way through college, and there were connections that we've had with people that have gone back to when they're 8, 9 years old and have just carried on all the way through college. I won't get into all the details, but people we've kind of stayed in contact with. And whenever we see each other, we'll joke about something that happened on a soccer field somewhere or whatever. And that's just being nostalgic. It's just, looking back at a point in time. Now, in the article, it talks about nostalgia that comes from two Greek words, literally meaning homecoming and ache, involving the yearning for a past time or a place, a wonderful feeling, right? And we all have bad things in our lives too, but we tend to kind of look back at those, the good old days, the 4th of July in 1976. Do you remember it? That was awesome. But what they're finding is that there's certainly some benefits to this nostalgia. It's improved to linked. It's linked to improved mental health, higher resiliency, greater meaningfulness in life, and just increased optimism. But it also helps connect us. And what they have found is that people who have this heightened degree of nostalgia often have larger social circles, and they put more effort into their relationships. There's something to this, and this is, this kind of what they have found is that at younger ages it's more important. As we get older, we're more nostalgic, but our social circles tend to get smaller, and it kind of makes sense. I mean, my dad's 91 years old, right? He'll soon be 92. A lot of his friends are gone. I kind of say that half jokingly, but that's the reality, and there's less people to be nostalgic with. But nostalgia helps us maintain strong social ties. It comes down to knowing, liking, trusting people, and really what nostalgia is, and I think about when I get together with my college friends, what nostalgia is almost a little reminder to everybody. we liked each other. We knew each other. We trusted each other. Um, and that's really kind of a linchpin. Well, it's the very definition of relationships is people knowing, liking, and trusting one another. Um, and so nostalgia is important to our relationships, and to the extent we can bring in old experiences, it serves to reconnect us, hold our relationships together much stronger. And again, I think of when I get together with friends from college, or whatever, law school, whatever point in time. I'm very involved with my high school, getting back, and some of these people in high school I didn't I didn't graduate with. It's the people on the alumni board with me. They might be 5 or 6 years older, or 5 or 6 years younger, meaning we didn't even share the same space, the same time and space at the school. They were older, they were gone before I got to the high school, or they weren't there yet. But we still have a degree of nostalgia. Hey, did you have Mr. Brotherton for chemistry? Hey, do you remember this? And certainly there are individuals where we there's a newer high school now. It came in. It was built in 1990, and so there were people from the old high school, and then there were people from the newer high school. And so people from the old high school certainly have this kinship because of the old high school. It's 3 stories and blah 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 blah. It doesn't really matter the details for you, but we kind of rally around this. But even people who are from the new high school, we rally around the notion of, okay, our mascot is the Gremlins, which is relatively unique throughout the United States as far as high school mascots or college mascots go. Um, and so those are, it's really what nostalgia really is, and thinking about it, is nostalgia is just this thing that we can draw a common bond around. Right. One of the things I talk about in networking, and a great way to get network, is find things that you have in common with other people. And what nostalgia is doing is it's this reminder of what we have in common. And it's generally linked to a time that just, was happier. And maybe it wasn't happier, but that we remember it was happier. And for the most part, it was. I mean, when I was in high school, yeah, all I wanted to do was get out of high school. But if you get a few years beyond that, it's like, yeah, I kind of miss. There were some good things. Yeah, didn't really enjoy the studying, and there were certain things I didn't like hot lunch. But there were a lot of things about it, the friendships and so on and so forth. So think about your past. Think about the people that are in your life, and just really the power of nostalgia, the power of just kind of reminiscing with, what. Do this. Think about somebody, and think about what's that one instance that you shared with that person that you can say, do you remember when? Do you remember when we stayed up all night? Or do you remember a friend from high school, Chuck Roberts? We get together. I don't run into him often. Just our lives have gone in separate directions. But we'll talk about tooling. And what tooling was, that was our term for just driving around. I would get the car, and he had his car, and we would just basically drive, not in a circle, it was more a figure eight, through the downtown of Houghton, Michigan, across the bridge, through Hancock, Michigan, and do it back and forth and back and round and round and round we would go. I don't really know why, looking for girls probably, talking, waving at people. It was just, hey, we had a car. It was the freedom. And it's just how these two cities were set up that this really lent itself well to that. I don't know what other kids do. But my point is, it doesn't matter what other kids do. My point is that Chuck and I will get together and we'll kind of talk about that. And we'll laugh about it. That's our common bond. That's our nostalgia. And it serves to bridge time. Haven't seen you in 10 years, but we knew each other. We liked each other. We trusted each other. It's great to see you. So embrace the past. Embrace nostalgia. Nostalgia. Talking too fast here today. embrace it. It's a wonderful way to build social bonds with people that have been in your life and maybe have left your life, and are now back. And there may have been a huge gap there, or it might have just been a couple of weeks. But it's a great way to kind of bridge that gap and help you build stronger, better, more productive relationships.
Thanks for joining us on the Networking RX podcast. Please put what you've learned into action today and let us know if you have questions, comments, or ideas for future topics. You can email them to us at podcast@amspirit.com. That's AmSpirit.com. Finally, so you never miss an episode, be sure to subscribe to the Networking RX podcast through iTunes, Overcast, or however you receive your podcasts. Now get out and network with someone.
The Networking RX podcast is the copyright production of AmSpirit Business Connection. All rights reserved.